Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and I'm on the wrong overlay. Well, we're gonna just go ahead and fix that really fast on the wrong overlay. Yep, entirely. All right, so we're on the right overlay now. Thank you all for joining me. We have this was total intern. Somebody fire the intern. They turned off the music sound and they used the wrong streaming template. It's just all messed up. Okay, either way, let's go ahead and get into the 2v2 played on Funeral Plains, a very, very good map. And it is a 2v2 team matchmaker, and on top of that, it's a Subpar commander. So today, we have ourselves 2 players on each team, and we are going to be seeing exactly how... hair in my mouth. Man, this is really a bad start, but whatever. We're going to see how they play. We're going to start with Team 1 up in the top right, Team 2 in the bottom left. Let's start by introducing our red player, the red UEF, going by the name of Please. Going first land, and he is, of course, going to be on the northern side of the map. Then his ally, another UEF player, a yellow one this time, by the name of Mandalore, going first land. Then we can move on down to the southern side of the map, the other side, the opponents of these glorious players. A gray UEF, so we're on an unbroken chain of UEF players at the moment, by the name of Pit 422. Then, of course, we have our last but certainly not least player. He is a longtime member of the community and a friend of mine. His name is Samus759, and he has gone first land. He's a blue Cybern, and yeah, that's all of our players introduced. Yet again, we'll go over Funeral Plains. There is approximately 31,381. I say approximately because that's the exact number, and I'm trying to sound smart, but I'm not. Reclaim on the map. It's spread out a lot of it in these tiny rocks of 38. We have 2 civilian bases over here that will fight you, and you have to deal with them. They have T2 PD, which makes them a bit more difficult than your average civilian base, but not that bad. You can kind of get in there. If you really are determined, you can just send a giant wave of T1 if you want to be inefficient. But in general, it's a really well-balanced map. You have all of these kind of weird choke point-y things. You can traverse most of the terrain on the map, but there's hills and such, a lot of kind of areas for indirect fire to become more useful. And yeah, we have many things to go over. The game quality is 97%. These players extremely well balanced against each other. So going to be a very well balanced game. It is a long one, so feel free to go grab yourself a drink, some popcorn, some chips, and throw it up on the TV. You know what? I don't know. Has anybody watched one of my casts on a TV? Kind of be honored if they did. Like, anybody like over here like, Friday night's Willow cast night, we're gonna watch it on the TV, grab the children and the wife and force them to listen to this idiot on the YouTubes. But yeah, there we go. That is what it is, and I just realized that oh no! I just realized that something was wrong with my streaming setup, and I fixed it. Okay, so we have some early harassment coming out. A lot of mech marines out from Puis heading down to the bottom left, as the top left is being raided by Pit 422 with his mech marines. A lot of mech marines in this match so far. Not much harassment going down on the southern side of things. It looks like the northern side are more interested in beating the shit out of each other than the southern side is, as the southern players are going to go ahead and start ecoing up, it looks like. And this is going to be a very spicy game. It's a spicy meatball. We have ourselves some mech marines coming in. Gonna be killed off by this striker, or possibly gonna get a kill on the striker if the micro... Oh my god! Breaking the ankles of the striker is that mech marine going back and forth. The tank doesn't have ankles, but if it did, they would be entirely broken, as he was unable to land that killing blow. Now a Snoop is threatening to kill the mech marine. The mech marine doesn't kill the engineer though, so the engineer gets to live with 3 health points. This is a sin. But he does manage to kill off a striker, so like he is over here Ramboing it. Rambo mech marine. Pit 422 has his commander sitting here. He was in chat a little bit earlier talking about needing to improve. One thing to do is queue up your commander. Queue up like the first 5 to 6 minutes of play with your commander. Just have him doing something. The early game, if your commander is doing nothing, your commander is failing. Point defense, not a great strategy as this early on. You're going to be stalling yourself mass-wise with that, but then again, he's having trouble spending his mass, so maybe not the worst idea. More factories is what you do when you can't spend your mass or get a mass extractor upgrade, but you usually do that after you get up some production. I generally like to get at least 4 to 5 factories on maps that don't have a stupid amount of reclaim before I bother with a T2 Mex upgrade. I know a lot of players have trouble struggling with that, but in general, you're going to want to get up a lot of production before you are even thinking about a T2 Mex upgrade, especially in these more 2v2 and 1v1 styles of play. You don't have quite as many teammates to cover for your lack of units. A Jester out from Samus is possibly going to be shot down by this Interceptor, the Cyclone going in for the kill, but is being chased down by some Prowlers. The Cyclone does go down, and the Jester does not manage to die on this given day. Is going to come in, going to start being able to wail some damage down onto these yellow structures and units. Another Interceptor out on the map. This time a Cyclone out from Please is going to run into 2 Prowlers, and these Prowlers are going to send it back into the ground with haste. It came from the ground and it returns to the ground. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes, and all of that. More factories being built by Pitt. I applaud the factory building. Lots of factories out of Samus. Let's go ahead and do a quick factory count. We're just going to count the land factories because who gives a fuck about air. 5 air factories for Samus plus 5 factories for Pitt, so that's 10 factories for Team 1. Team 2 sitting on 9 and 6, so we're going to be looking at a factory advantage over for Team 1. Does that mean anything? Well, if they have the mass to use these factories, it means a fuck ton. Every factory produces more units, even with a 1 factory advantage. If you're both constantly producing units at the same rate, well, guess what? The guy with 1 factory advantage wins the game. So yes, factory is very important. Please over here, going into the middle, going to be building a mass extractor and grabbing some reclaim. Does manage to get the mass extractor up, but there are some units over here out from Samus that might be able to have a word about that and be able to say, hey, no, we don't like that. We already have an artillery, one of those Medusa, firing onto the mass extractor. These units going to be shooed away by the comma please, saying, please get the fuck off my lawn. I make myself laugh, which is stupid. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, but you know, whatever. I'm so bad at content creation and YouTube and stuff, but whatever. We have a lot of units building up here in the middle for both sides. A large wave of yellow units down here on the south out from Mandalore going to be making their way towards the production facilities of Samus 759. Gonna need to get some kind of response up for that. Does Samus have any idea? They do not. We do not see any major investment into radar for Team 2. Team 1 doing a bit better on the radar front. At least Please has a few radar out on the map to help him understand what's going on. Intelligence, exceptionally important in a game where one small group of units can cause you to lose entirely. Gotta know where your opponent is in order to punch them in the face. Fun fact, if you're blind, it's a lot harder to win a fist fight. Unless you're like Daredevil or some shit, you're not gonna do well. So, my tip for the day, stop being blind, build a radar. All right, we're getting close to the 9-minute mark. Let's go ahead and check on reclaim numbers. 6.1 thousand, 6.2 thousand for both teams. Both teams very close in reclaim. Total mass extracted from the map in total is going to be 27,000 for both teams. These teams neck and neck with their unit production. Let's look at the kill to loss ratio. Mandalore being exceptionally efficient with his units, having a 4.80 kill to loss ratio. Kill to build ratio is bad for everybody, but that's okay because it's not ever a good stat for anyone. Most players will never see a 1 kill to build ratio. All right, we have some pressure mounting up here for Puis in the northern side. Of course, we do need to mention it. Samus, of course, the highest rated player on Team 2, is going up against Mandalore, the lowest rated player for Team 1, and vice versa for the other side. So we should see somewhat of an ebb and flow with the higher rated players being able to push out the lower rated players if the rating is indeed accurate. But Pitt does have a decent number of units out here and is going to be able to set up some form of defense. A radar on the way for Puis. That's not going to last very long, as some units out from Pitt are showing up to try and deal with that. Over here on the south side, we have a large engagement between Mantis and Strikers breaking out between Samus and Mandalore. These units going to be, I think it's going to come down to micro, but right now it doesn't look like the advantage is in the hands of Mandalore. The Strikers are starting to chase the Mantis away. There's still enough Mantis here to cause damage, but it does look like the critical mass of Strikers is still here, and the Mantis are going to have to flee as units out from Mandalore again, bringing in more units from the north. Going to be cutting off the escape route of his opponent and going to be able to get a very decisive victory against Samus right there on the ground game. But there are some defenses now being thrown up by Samus. Going to be able to get up some good defense over here with some Cerberus turrets going up. I still don't agree with building Cerberus turrets right next to each other unless you're forward fire basing. Spread out your Cerberus, spread out your T2 PD when you have the chance to. You want it to cover a larger radius, because placing them right next to each other just means that there's one point there where the enemy can't go. If you spread them out, it's a lot harder for your opponent to find a way in. As long as they don't reach Tech 2, you're good. But if they reach Tech 2 before you and you got T2 on the comm, then I think you're doing something wrong, because that inherently means you're building structures instead of units. Over here we have Mantis dying en masse to the comm of Mandalore mixed with a large group of Strikers. Gonna need to be very careful with the way he handles this is Samus. Samus is gonna need to find a way to navigate this fight without getting himself into a dangerous position. Does have enough Cerberus right now to probably hold this off, along with the spam coming out of his factories. Meanwhile, on the north side, we have T2 now achieved by Puis, and he is getting some pushing going on. We have T2 also achieved by Pitt. That's going to be crucial. T2 also achieved by Samus. Every player in the game reaching T2 land, and it is going to be important. A giant run by the defense is not enough to completely thwart the attack out from Mandalore. Samus going to have some trouble as his production facilities are now under threat by this large push out from Mandalore. These units going to be getting in to the factories and going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Would like to see some kind of bomber production. I don't think Jesters is the right call here. I think bombers are much better at dealing with this kind of thing. These Strikers going to get in, going to be able to kill off mass extractors, might even possibly pick up all 4 of these factories, already killing off the Hydro. This is going to be a very unfortunate situation now for Samus as these Strikers continue to pillage his production facilities. Over on the north, we have a push now out from Puis with that Tech 2 advantage. Has pillars here, whereas his opponent does not. Pitt does not have pillars. Over here in the center, we have a push out from Pitt, but it doesn't look like it's quite enough. Gun upgrade finished up for Pitt, so he's going to be able to deal a lot of damage with that comm, but needs to be careful. Samus now moved back a little bit. I'd like to see his comm actually get in range, come over here and kill off these Strikers, but that's not seeming to happen. Gestures now showing up. Samus with a heavy focus on the air game. I think he has the most interceptors in the game right now, and he is T2 air, so we could see something like a Corsair snipe coming out from him relatively soon, if he has the economy for it, that is. Speaking of economies, we're at 61 mass a second for Samus, 34 for Pitt. Puis sitting at 53 and Mandalore sitting at 59. Overall, looking at Reclaim, both teams still neck and neck, only about 1,000 mass separating them in the Reclaim game, as these players continue to duke it out here on Funeral Plains. A few shots coming out from this comm out for Pitt. Pitt having that gun upgrade is going to really save his bacon at the moment, as he's able to kill off these T2 units without too much difficulty. I would like to see him get up an energy storage. He's stalling right now, I think, building a T2 power. No, he's not stalling. He has a lot of build power here that he's not really utilizing, and I can kind of understand it. His economy's balanced, but he doesn't have much to spare. So would probably like to see these engineers start moving out, maybe build triad just kind of in the choke points, one triad each, get some tactical missile defense, just kind of use the engineers. It's all about trying to use everything at your disposal. People say that APM isn't important in FAF. I disagree. I do think you need a bare minimum of APM to be a higher level player. I think you need enough to be able to manage all of your base and units. Not quite as much as StarCraft, but still a lot of APM is needed to manage everything going on. Still need, I'd say about 40 to 50 is the benchmark that most players probably need to reach to be able to properly manage their base and their units. T2 now on the way for Mandalore. T2 of course already finished up for Samus along with the stealth upgrade. Squeeze out here with gun upgrade on his comm and Pit with gun on his as well. And these players are going to be digging in to fight it out for a while. It doesn't look like anybody's getting some massive headway. The run by Mandalore was quite impressive and got a lot done, but it wasn't really capitalized on well and didn't economically cripple Samus in any kind of way. We do have a T2 transport on the way. Could see some drops into the back of the base if he gets lucky. Some Medusa drops would be very dangerous. Could also move the comm around the map quite quickly, but that is more risky as there are interceptors for his opponents. There's a lot of interceptors landing over here, about to be a problem for Samus as his interceptors are getting reclaimed by patrolling engineers. And he is going to move his interceptors, but now he's going to be caught into an air fight that you may not want to be engaged in. T1 bombers out for Pit 422. Not able to quite get any traction with those, but a large army out from Pit, and he's a little bit, he's kind of unmatched over here. He has a lot more units over here than Puiz. Puiz has some higher tech units, but this is a lot of units to deal with, and there are some Tech 2 units mixed in over here for Pit. I don't know if he'll have enough to just straight up push through this, especially with the comm showing up with that gun upgrade. He definitely has enough to make a strong hold on this area. His bombers also in tow could come up and deal some critical damage to some of these units. A flak is in the mix though, so these bombers getting one pass and that is it. Kills off a couple of units, but is gonna have to fall back. There is a flank coming out from Mandalore, and Puiz's unit's gonna have to find a way out of this. Can retreat northwest if he needs to. Neither team really focusing on trying to get the 3 mass extractors or all of the reclaim that's in these structures over here on the top left and bottom right. There's also a decent amount of reclaim just in the general vicinity of these, so you really do want to try and focus on getting control of the map when you can. Map control exceptionally important in FAF. And Mandalore is just kind of taking the cake for production. Has so many factories set up, there is no way he is not stalling. Mandalore in an 80 mass a second stall with so many factories set up, he cannot afford this. I think he needs to scale back his production and get more economy if this is what he wants to do. Has the most units on the map, but it won't matter worth a damn if he's behind economically. Currently sitting at 74 mass a second versus Samus already at 77. So he's doing quite well economically, actually. I'm kind of eating my own words here. 69 and 74, so the player's doing okay economically. This T2 air is starting to become a problem for Team 1 though. A bunch of renegades now showing up means that any efforts on the ground are going to be kind of thwarted until they get enough flak or they get into the air game quite hard themselves. We don't see a T2 air factory out from either player on Team 1 at the moment, so they're going to just be kind of behind in the air game, not going to have the tech. We have triads going up. This could just be a kill on to Mandalore. I don't know if he'd want to go for the kill. Of course, in Team Matchmaker, it is always full share, so he does have the risk. If he kills Mandalore, it's not necessarily guaranteed that he will be able to hold on and gain anything from this, because of course all of Mandalore's units and structures are going to go straight to Puiz, who might have the APM to manage it, and he'd just be in a very strong economic position. not necessarily having more economy than both of his opponents combined, but having that economy focused into one player is very strong. As Mandalore in a dicey situation, I'd like to see some flak showing up. We do have flak on the way from Please. It does look like Mandalore now being pushed back. It doesn't look like Samus is too interested in actually killing off Mandalore as of the moment. Just going to kill off his base and his units. And over on the north side, we have a large engagement happening between Please and Pit as they continue to fight it out. I don't know who really has the advantage here. There's definitely more teched up units for Please still. Seems to be the story of this northern side. There's more Tech 2 production. He's kind of almost abandoned Tech 1 production at this point. You barely see any T1 units rolling out of his base, but he has a lot of T2 rolling out. A little bit of a run-by coming over here for Please. The Renegades slowly pushing back Mandalore, taking away his territory. Going to be able to kind of hem him into his base. Could even go for some of this expansion mass extractors that he's managed to grab up. The Renegade's now focusing onto the comm of Mandalore. Is it going to be enough, or is he going for the snipe? No, he is deciding to fall back now, just trying to constantly push back the comm of Mandalore. Some hoplites coming up in the rear to try and continue to harass the comm and the units coming out from Mandalore's base. Over here, Pit is able to push back quite a little bit against this. Do we see anything like a tactical missile launcher? I don't think that Team 2 has any TMD really set up. It would be brutal to see a tactical missile launcher coming out from them. Gunther artillery set up by Samus. Samus playing a very defensive style with the airs to stop his opponent. Isn't spending much on units at all, other than getting those Renegades. Has a lot of structures on the field, has a lot of defenses set up. Does have T2 production going now. Going to be getting Rhinos and Hoplites out onto the field in mass. Maybe even mix in some Wagners for that high alpha damage and high health power that they do bring to your arsenal when you are fighting. As the action dies down a little bit, we do have a... Did I see a tactical missile launcher? We do have a tactical missile launcher now built for Please. Is it going to launch anytime soon? I'm not really seeing it. We do have one tactical missile defense set up for Samus, so that is going to give him a little bit of credence, a little bit of ways to not be under direct threat. I don't know if credence is the right word there. I think credence is the wrong word, but whatever, we'll flow with it. We'll go with the flow. We have T3 Air now on the way for Samus. That's the first upgrade to T3 I think I've seen so far. T3 Land on the way, but it is behind the curve. T3 Air will be finishing up first for Samus. Could see a Strat Bomber come out and cause massive damage to the likes of Team 1. But these teams incredibly evenly balanced, both of them having about the same amount of map control. I would say that as far as map control goes, Please is in a slightly better position, but not infallible. Team 1, of course, slightly ahead on map control, but that's not resulting into any major lead. Only about a 4,000 total mass accrued lead, but when you're at over 100,000 mass, 4,000 mass is not a huge difference. In mass generation, Team 1 slightly ahead by about 30 to 40 mass a second at any given time. As far as reclaim is concerned, Team 2 is very far ahead on this, now sitting at over a 5,000 reclaim differential. Getting 5,000 more reclaim. Of course, as I said, 4,000 or 5,000 mass doesn't really matter when you're at the point of the game where both teams have gotten over 100,000 mass accrued, but every little bit does count. Just not exceptionally important. We have a drop now out for Samus. Is it going to be able to land? It does look like it manages to land. That's 3 Rhinos and a Hoplite into the back lines for Mandalore. He has a lot of production, so he's going to be able to get a response out here very quickly, but the power is going to go down, and that's probably going to throw Mandalore into a power stall, especially once the second reactor goes down. Going to be a power stall immediately once that happens, and that's going to be a big problem. It's going to take Mandalore a little bit of time to recover from that, and these units are going to continue to run back, may even pick up a couple of mass extractors if they are lucky. And that is a very relevant drop now out from Samus759. Going to be able to get a ton of damage on the board for relatively little investment. Loses 3 Rhinos and a Hoplite along with a T2 transport for the cost of 2 T2 power generators and a T2 mechs at the minimum, it looks like. Oh, no. He needs to right click on the mechs. He needs to right click on the mechs. Oh no, the mechs is going to live with no HP. 300 HP, just a couple of blaps out from the Rhinos, and that would have been enough. But the Rhinos are going to be able to kill off a lot of these units, going to stop the reinforcements out from Mandalore going to the front line. Mandalore, very heavy Mongoose production, but I don't know if he's doing the micro for the Mongoose quite as well as he needs to for having such a heavy Mongoose focus in his lineup. I don't even know if he's building any pillars. And we have the great patrol wall out from Pit. This isn't super efficient if you're patrolling units. Oh, wait, no, he's not patrolling units. They're just all on a move command. Okay, never mind. He's doing it right. You just want you want to spread out your units with move commands, but you don't want to have them on patrol. When they patrol, they do silly stuff, in my opinion. Unless it's engineers or air units, you don't generally patrol them. Even then, the air unit patrol is kind of a lazy thing to do, to be honest. Patrolling air units is kind of like, well, I don't really want to, like, worry about defending my base, but I do want, like, certain things to get killed, like scouts and such, so I'll just patrol around and hope it works. Hello, FBN Galgamesh. Glad to see you here, my fam. As these units engage over here, I don't really know who has the advantage. The Mongoose going down surprisingly quick. They're in the front lines. That's not where you want your Mongoose to be. And this force is just T1 now against a large group of Rhinos and Hoplites. This force is going to be destroyed. Absolutely brought to its knees. Those Hoplites and Rhinos very good at a heads-up engagement like they were given. A Strat Bomber now out for Samus. Let's go ahead and give it the love. Let's go ahead and give it that tracking cinematic view. Currently at 10 kills already, cutting down the economy of Mandalore and possibly going to get some shots off onto the economy of Puise. Looks like a bomb is going to be dropped over here on the energy storage of Puise that could have been placed a little bit better. The interceptors from Puise going to show up and shut down that bomber, but does manage to get a lot of drops off and do a decent amount of damage. We have T3 Mobile AA now being built by Puise, but we don't see any movement towards T3 Air out from either player on Team 1. We do need to see that here soon, because Strat Bomber spam is going to be starting relatively soon, and that could be absolutely brutal for the likes of Team 1, as Team 2 will have complete air dominance. As soon as he builds a few interceptors, he is in a golden opportunity kind of spot where you can just deal with this. You could also go for the route of spamming up SAMs, but that seems exceptionally inefficient. But it is the route that Puise is going for. Even if you spam all of the SAMs in the world and you spam them all around the map, that just means that you're spending a lot of mass on anti-air whenever you could have been spending that on a way to fight your opponent in the air. T3 on the way for Pit. Speaking of upgrades, we haven't seen really any other upgrades go on other than that T2 earlier from Mandalore. T3 canceled on Pit. T3 starting up now for Samus. They're playing musical upgrades. And we have Mongoose coming in, and these Mongoose keep on being micro. They're being run in head first. This is not how you do Mongoose micro. If this is what you're going to do with your Mongoose, instead build pillars. They're cheaper, and they will do more for you in the long run. This is just a Mongoose massacre. People always ask me why I hate seeing players build Mongoose. It's because of shit like this. The micro isn't even that hard. If you play Aeon for any amount of time, you'll learn the micro. You just kind of have to keep them at their maximum range all of the time. Otherwise, you're going to be in situations where you're losing Mongoose to a force that you could easily kill if you just microed them properly. It's a micro-heavy composition, and he just does not have the APM or the focus to make it happen. We have T3 land, though, finished up for Puise, and we have some Titan raiding parties now showing up, and they are going to come in with a vengeance. I'd like to see these Renegades target onto those, though. The Renegades need to start dealing with these Titans very soon. We do not have T3 land even started for the likes of Pit. Pit's somewhat behind in this game. Pitt sitting on 59 mass a second, whereas the closest player to him is on 74, and that is Mandalore. Pitt kind of behind the ball in this game, but he's not giving up, and he's still putting up a fight against Please, but it's a losing battle at this point. Needs to get some more economy up and get into the T3 phase as soon as possible. A large wave of units is now going to engulf the units over here for Samus, and Samus is going to be in a difficult position, but he has multiple factories, 4 support factories now building T3 units, I think, or maybe they're all idle, but a couple of them at least are starting to build bricks, and that could be very, very dangerous for the likes of Mandalore, who I do not believe is quite to the Tech 3 phase of the game yet. Where even is his HQ? It's back here. It is upgrading to T3, but he will be a little bit behind on the tech side of the game. There is bricks showing up out of the factories now for Samus. He needs to start sending them southeast to deal with this giant attempted run-by out from Mandalore. This run by Mandalore could possibly do quite a bit. There's a few PD here to kind of slow down the advance of these units, but I don't think it's going to super duper matter whenever you have rhinos and bricks trying to do the same thing. The T1 PD, yeah, they're nice, but they're not going to do quite as much as the T2 and T3 units. These units streaming in single file is really unfortunate for Mandalore. Would have been better if he was able to group up his units and send them in as a more cohesive unit. The Mongoose also running into this, and not even that Mongoose do very well whenever they're kiting against bricks. They're not super efficient. He just needs to get to the T3 phase and get Percival's up if he wants to have a chance of dealing with these bricks. T3 now on the way for Pitt. A Monkey Lord has been started up by Samus759. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. That could be a game changer. T3 now on the way for Mandalore, who could build Ravagers or a Fat Boy to try and deal with that Monkey Lord. Assuming the Monkey Lord is, of course, finished in a reasonable amount of time, that could be a possible solution. Tactical missiles now coming in from Please. Going to be able to get some damage down on to Samus, killing off multiple T2 mass extractors. Samus now going to be in trouble. He has more tactical missile defense coming up, but I don't know if it'll be enough. He needs to get it out very quickly, otherwise he's going to be in a lot of pain. I'd like to see some tactical missile defense in the main base as well. He has T3 mass extractors, and that could be a problem if those do get sniped by the tactical missiles. There is a large group of T3 now building up over here for Please. He still is mainly just Titans, pretty much only Titans and maybe a Cougar or two. But Titans are going to be able to deal with these armies quite well. We still don't have T3 land on the way for Pitt. Pitt's going to be behind quite heavily in the tech side of the game. But Samus still the only player on T3 Air. Oh wait, never mind. We have T3 Air now finished up for Please. Please starting to build his own ASF count up. The ASF count for Samus has now ballooned up to a whopping 10. Whereas Please is sitting on 3. I saw that 56 and was like, there's no way he's on 56. And no, that's all interceptors. Bricks starting to push up on the eastern side. Titans engaging into this T2 ball of units out from Pitt. Is it gonna be enough? Also, Scorchers now coming in to deal their damage into this army, but there are parashields to kind of stop that from happening. And the Titans were driven back. The Titans engaged straight up into that T2 army. There was a lot of T2 there. There wasn't quite enough Titans to deal with it very easily, so that is of course going to be a victory for Pitt, but he's on a clock. Once there's a critical mass of Titans, he is going to be in some massive trouble unless he gets up either static defense or his own T3 units. Bricks now starting to pressure quite hard into the base of Mandalore. Mandalore, I think, is in a mass stall for the ages, not quite able to afford what he is doing. Samus in a much bigger mass stall. Of course, he is building a Monkey Lord, but Samus, having a stronger economy, should be able to get out more bricks to fight off whatever T3 units show up. But I think he has stopped production of bricks, or at the very least just kind of should stop production of bricks while he is building that Monkey Lord. That Monkey Lord will take forever to finish if he does not. As far as reclaim goes, as we reach the 30-minute mark, a little bit past it in fact, 41,000 for Team 1, 39,000 for Team 2, and overall mass accumulated this game is going to be in the advantage of Team 1 at almost a 30,000 mass lead over their opponents. A fight breaking out between the Titans and other units up here, these T2 units. They're going to need to hold the line a little bit longer. A Titan goes down, still able to fight off the Titans for now. He might even switch over to Percival production if he just really wants to stop this, but for now I think more Titans will still answer this problem. But we need to see some kind of solution for this out from Pitt, and he is going T3 now. He's going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage as far as production goes, but if he goes for Percivals, he has a much better counter. Percival's very good at killing off Titans, and Titans are kind of the bulk of the army for Puiz, and he also has the giant T1, T2 supporting force now for his Percivals if he needs it. The Monkey Lord currently sitting at about 60%. Gonna need to finish up on building that relatively soon before it becomes a bit more useless. We have a support factory, a quantum gate, or a quantum gate support commander factory is what I guess I was trying to say. Quantum gate coming up, going to be able to build those RAS support comms, going to be able to get a lot of economy. I don't really agree with going with that when you still have full T2 mexes. It's much less efficient to get mass by using RAS ACUs than just, you know, actually upgrading your mass extractors, but okay. T3 mass extractors coming online for Puiz and Samus. Samus currently sitting on 169 mass a second, Puiz at 202, Mandalore at 97, and Pitt at 116. So Pitt now in a stronger economic position than Mandalore is, and Mandalore's economic position still going to fall behind as long as he's spending all of this mass on support commanders. He's not going to have that mass going into his own economy or even into unit production, so it is going to kind of choke his economy out. I would really like to see him go for mass extractor upgrades instead of going for this play. He does have I don't even think he has a T3 mass extractor as of the moment. Let's just go ahead and find his mass extractors. There's a T1 mass extractor there, T2, and no... Oh, he has multiple T3 mass extractor. Oh, that's Puiz. Mandalore, on the other hand, has 12 T2 mass extractors, but no T3 mass extractor, so that's going to be a problem for him in the very near future. Economically, he is going to be a bit strangled out. A fight yet again breaking out between Pitt and Samus, but not going the way of... Or Pitt and Puiz, but not going the way of Puiz still. Puiz having trouble breaking through this T2 force. A Fat Boy on the way. That is a bit ambitious. Samus has finished up the Monkey Lord. Gonna go ahead and put the tracking camera on it. We will only zoom in to track it in a little bit. We're gonna have to see if he's able to make this work. There is a decent number of bricks, and bricks are gonna start coming out of these factories. He's gonna be shitting bricks because he is, of course, no longer spending all of that mass on Monkey Lord. He is going to have a lot of mass for bricks in his near future. He also has the ASF advantage, so I don't think air is going to be a problem. Although now that I say that, he may no longer have the ASF advantage, but he will have enough to try and defend his units from the air units out from Puiz. An engagement happening up here between Pitt and Puiz still. I'd like to see Samus get very aggressive with this. He does have a massive advantage with that Monkey Lord. It's able to chew through these units very quickly, not to mention the bricks being quite good at it themselves. This is a moment to be aggressive, a moment to use the advantage you've built for yourself by investing into this Monkey Lord. If they send Titans to you, they're sending Titans to their death. Bricks beat Titans. A large push of units now coming out from Mandalore towards the main base of Samus. But here's the thing, there's Whalers now set up over here. These units are going to be chewed through very quickly by the Whalers. The Monkey Lord out from Samus, now out here dealing damage to these armies, and these units going to be getting veterancy very quickly as long as it continues to show up and fight. Thank you for the subscription. Your second month of being a tier 1 sub, Hot Ham Legs. Haley finally showing up as we're in the middle of a cast. Monkey Lord showing up to fight its way through all of these units out from Mandalore. More and more bombers are showing up. These T1 bombers are going to be dealt with very quickly by the ASF, but does he have enough ASF to win the air fight afterwards? I'm not sure. It's not looking super good for Samus as the air fight goes horribly. But here's the thing, there's really not the air units to kind of punish him at the moment, and as long as he can focus on getting air production up right now, I think he'll be okay. As this Monkey Lord continues to start to tear through the base of Mandalore, not to mention the mass of bricks showing up. This army is not going to do anything to a bunch of bricks. There are Whalers still down here dealing with this. We do need to see Please show up and start dealing with these Whalers that are just getting free shots into this massive T1 force out from Mandalore. The Monkey Lord still over here. Please has built an experimental. A Fat Boy is finished up for Please. That could be a solution for this Monkey Lord, but this Monkey Lord is going to be able to continue to push in to the base of Mandalore, maybe even get off a kill onto the HQ, which is a T3 HQ now. He was trying to switch over to T3 production, it does seem, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. And yeah, this is going to be a very, very close call for Team 1. I think Team 1 will be able to deal with it. With the Monkey Lord spawning, it's going to be able to deal quite a bit. We might see a veterancy saving the Monkey Lord, though. I'm not sure. The damage coming into this Monkey Lord quite heavily. It's going to be very close. Is it going to be able to get off a kill in time onto something valuable enough to get up its mass value and kills? Is it going to be able to get a veterancy? No, it's not. The Fat Boy kills it off and almost gets its first rank of veterancy for free. But meanwhile, all of the Titans and everything was pulled off this northern flank, and it's going to be abused by Pit. Pit coming in with a large attack on the north side. Of course, Titans, very fast Titans, will be able to show up to try and help out against this, but this is a lot of units to deal with quickly, and this was probably not the greatest time to be switching over to T3 production of Percy's. The air grid is under threat. If he kills off the power generators here, this could be brutal for Team 1. And man, let's see, we do have all these units getting in. I'd like to see them try and focus on this air production grid. Your units are going to die here. You're not going to be able to just keep on running by. If you can focus on getting down the air production for Please, you give a massive advantage over to Samus, who is currently on T3 air production and looks like he's building an air grid that's going to be much larger than the air grid now built by Please. He's focusing heavily on regaining that air control. It does look like there's been an attack move on to the power generator, but I think he's going to fall back. These units are forfeit anyways. You may as well just go for killing off the power generator, in my humble opinion. And with that, we're going to calm down a little bit. The Fat Boy, of course, going to be a large problem now for Please. Or for Team 2, I mean. Not Please, it's not a problem at all. He loves having it. The bricks over here, cleaning up the remnants of the base that Mandalore had. Out here, this forward base area. T3 mechs is now coming out, but a support commander has already been built. The Quantum Gateway has been halted in its production. A bunch of reclaim going on to that Monkey Lord. That Monkey Lord, in the end, not super valuable for Team 2. It wasn't able to get in and deal any critical damage to the infrastructure or economy. Was just able to kill off a lot of the army that Mandalore had built up, which was kind of a useless army, to be honest. It was a T1, T2 force. It was gonna be stopped by any major aggression out of it would have been able to be stopped. Over here on the north side, though, that large push does mean that a bunch of mass extractors went down for Please, but I don't think he's hurting economically. He has a ton of economic power built up back here near his main base. We have multiple factories now building. I'd like to see these factories queued up to build ASF. I don't know. Sam is now working on a Soul Ripper, but I don't know if that's the right call. I don't think he has air control. He currently has 10 ASF versus Please sitting over here on 16. I mean, a Soul Ripper can kill a lot of ASF before it goes down, so maybe it is the right call, but that Soul Ripper is going to have to be very clutch. He's throwing all of his eggs into the basket of having experimentals, and he may even be in trouble. He does have a few Gunther artillery pieces set up, and he has the force to try and protect himself, but the Fat Boy could be an issue very soon. It's moving towards his forward base. The Fat Boy out for Pit has now finished, so we do have the possibility of Fat Boy on Fat Boy violence. It's such a brutal thing. C2, it's like sumo wrestling, but in FAF, and it's horrible because it's like sumo wrestling, but with knives and cannons. Into Fat Boy on Fat Boy violence today. Alright, we have some gunships coming in now for Please. Gonna be shut down by the air forces out from Samus. We also have T3 air now achieved from Pit, and that is a game changer. If Pit can put any kind of real emphasis on producing ASF for his ally, that means that this Soul Ripper will be infinitely more effective, as some T3 gunships for Samus are going to be shot down by the ASFs of Please. We have multiple groups of ASFs now engaging each other from Pit, Samus, and Please. Looks like a few ASF from all sides are going to go down, and the players are going to disengage from that air fight. How many casts have I been? One? I'm guessing you mean on, and a few, but you're still definitely nowhere near how many casts Icy Nightmare has been in. Icy Nightmare has been a bit MIA as of late, but that's okay. He has a life. We all have lives. FAF isn't that important, and my channel definitely isn't that important. The perfect semicircle of strikers. Wait, I have a thumbnail idea. Okay. That's going to be part of the thumbnail. Alright, so Fat Boy over here, going to be racking up kills on the stuff, but is going to be fired on by the opposing Fat Boy. Needs to start running away with that. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. The power stall really not helping out Pit at the moment. That power stall is going to really hurt him. He needs the shields to flicker back on just long enough for him to get his Fat Boy away. He has a bunch of pair shields now showing up. Did he manage to fix his power crisis? It does look like he may have managed it, but the Fat Boy going to be under heavy threat as Percivals and Titans start showing up to the field to try and deal with this. We have a not necessarily large, but a decent force out from Samus now heading towards the opposing Fat Boy, but the Fat Boy out from Pit looking like it's in dire straits, may even die here soon. Has managed to get out of the range of the Fat Boy out from Please and is going to be able to run away from that, but now there's a bunch of T3 forces converging on its location, and that's going to be difficult to deal with. It's going to need to rush to this shield generator and hope that its shield comes back in time and that it can pump out enough damage to kind of deal with this wave of red units coming out from Please. Oh, I meant how many ones have been done. This is the first cast of the day. And it's a very long one. So I'm not sure if there's going to be more or not. There's definitely going to be a break after this one. I've been streaming for a couple hours, so I'm going to take like a 10-minute break, go stretch once this is over. But that is besides the point, as a Soul Ripper is about to finish, and it looks like Please has finished his second Fat Boy. which is very dangerous. But Pui's throwing away his air advantage right now in an air fight. The air production focus for Team 1 is going to bite them in the ass. They're not focusing on it nearly enough. And Team 2 having all of this focus on getting the air supremacy is going to work out beautifully, as the Soul Ripper is 90% complete. It's so close to being done. Percival's now being forced back. The Fat Boy managing to get underneath the shield. This Fat Boy providing the needed protection for Pit. Barely going to be able to hold out against the opposing pressure, but is going to be able to do so. Not if he continues to move forward into the firing range of the opposing Fat Boy, though. That could be very dangerous. This could be a problem. He doesn't have a shield up on his Fat Boy. It's coming up in a few seconds, but that's going to be an eternity in the terms of having a Fat Boy unshielded. They die so quick, so paper thin once that shield is down. Not even all that tanky when the shield is up, to be entirely honest. At like 96%, 97% done on this Soul Ripper. Gonna have to get the tracking cam back out for this one as well, as I think this Soul Ripper is going to be a pivotal thing in deciding how this match goes. There's a lot of AA built up by Team 1, but Team 2, of course, having the air advantage and having strap bombers and the such, going to be able to do quite a bit. This game entering the super late game. As we look at the reclaim numbers really quick, 112,000 reclaim for Team 1 versus 70,000 for Team 2. And overall mass generation over 500,000, over 600,000 at this point, really. Like, we're about to cross 600,000 for both teams. Over 1 million mass has been gathered in this match. The Fat Boy going to be focused on by the Soul Ripper. That Fat Boy is going to go down. It's going to be in enemy territory, though, so it does look like the reclaim's probably just going to go right back to Pui's. But another Fat Boy has shown up. I think that Samus knows about it. Maybe not. Doesn't know that it's a Fat Boy, but he will momentarily. Oh, man, the troll on that. That was so troll, but he's probably going to run into it. I would have to guess he finds out relatively soon that that's a Fat Boy, and yes, he's going to target onto that, almost guaranteed. There's no ASF to deal with this Soul Ripper. This Soul Ripper going to be able to tear in to the enemy units like nothing else. It does look like a large focus on building SAMs has now been started out for Pui's. Is it going to be enough? Can he tear through this shield generator and all of these SAMs and all of these engineers producing SAMs in time? I'm not sure. It's taking a lot of damage from all of this anti-air. This anti-air very adept at dealing with things like Zaras and Soul Rippers, able to fully utilize their DPS. The SAMs are going to go down relatively soon, but is it going to be enough? All of the build power slowly dying off as well. We have Flak showing up to try and deal with this. Only 6,000 HP left on the Soul Ripper. Soul Ripper's going to go down. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, none of these experimentals are getting quite the purchase that they need to. They need to get some infrastructural damage done. Neither team having quite the luck with experimentals that I'm sure they were hoping for. Anybody going for any really late game stuff? We do have an anti-nuke, but that's not a nuke launcher, to be honest, so it's not quite so interesting. Do we have a nuke launcher or anything spicy going on for any of these players? No, we have a Megalith now on the way for Samus759. And another Fat Boy on the way for Pit. His original Fat Boy, having gained a rank in veterancy, is now almost fully healed all the way back up to full health. We have more Percivals up here for Pui's, but they're going to be constantly peppered by this Fat Boy, which means that the units out for Pit are going to be able to kind of just deal with this. The Strap Bombers come in for a pass. Oh, you need to get your ASFs on those Strap Bombers. They're unprotected. Oh, you need your ASFs on those. The ASFs do get the order to come in. I'd like to see ASFs come up to try and protect the Strap Bombers. Oh, the Strap Bomber's going to go down. But in trade for the Strap Bombers, it does look like the ASF count for Pui's is going to be brought down to 0. As all of his ASFs, maybe he'll keep one alive, but I'm not sure. Nope, every ASF for Pui's goes down, which just means you can build more Strap Bombers to your heart's content. and keep on harassing with this air. The air has been a sore spot for Team 1 all game long, and it just feels like it's slightly getting worse with each passing moment. The Megalith now 50% done. Samus throwing all of his economy into experimentals over and over. Puis on a very strong economy, 252 mass a second, 191 for Mandalore, 278. So actually, Samus having the strongest economy in the game now, I believe, and 232 now for Pit. So it just looks like overall Mandalore kind of short stacking economically, despite going for the more late game economic focus with the Quantum Gateway and getting up those support comms. He just hasn't quite gotten enough of his mechs' 2T3 to be able to keep up with his opponents. A bunch of bricks and loyalists now showing up at the front line, and wow, that's a lot of stunned units out from those loyalists. These loyalists throwing a lot of CC damage into this. Actually, no bricks here whatsoever. It's Percival versus loyalists. Normally loyalists loses this, but right now it's looking like there's just not enough Percivals to deal with this. Broadswords show up for Puis to try and help deal with this. I'm assuming those broadswords can be shot down momentarily as rhinos and loyalists run away from the scene of the crime. And this forward fire base out for Mandalore going to be shut down quite hard. And overall air control just massively in favor of Team 2. Team 1 not able to field enough ASFs to do anything significant at any given time. And of course, both players on Team 2 still producing ASF at pretty much all times. We have Novak Center on the way for Pit. We're starting to reach that late game where standoff tactics are very much so worth it. We do have the Megalith finishing up soon. The Megalith, of course, one of the strongest experimentals in the game. I believe, if I recall correctly, somebody did send me a spreadsheet on this. The Fat Boy, even if perfectly microed, cannot survive a Megalith. If the Megalith is given the right-click command, or just told to move past the Fat Boy, the Megalith will kill the Fat Boy. Of course, doesn't take into account the fact that there's going to be Percivals and Titans and everything else, but still. The Megalith, the strongest land experimental in the game by a large margin. We have a nuke launcher now being built by Samus after that Megalith is finished. The Megalith going to start moving up. A lot of Trebuchet, T3 mobile artillery, now being spammed up by Samus. He's going for a very long-range composition. I'd like to see possibly more bricks even spammed up, to be honest, though. Bricks supporting a Megalith is very difficult to deal with. And we are 50 minutes in, reclaim-wise and total mass accrued-wise. The total mass accrued at this point is just a irrelevant stat. The players have what they have, and it's not exceptionally important, but reclaim numbers, over 100,000 reclaim for Mandalore, and 77,000 for Puis, 52,000 and 48,000 for Samus and Pit, respectively. The shield of that Fat Boy being brought very low by a pass from Strap Bombers. Some broadswords going to be showing up to try and provide more consistent DPS. I'd like to see the ASF get involved over here. You have the ASF advantage. You can abuse your air advantage as much as you want. This Megalith, as long as it continues to move forward, I think can continue to kill things and survive. But Samus deciding to fall back with it. Another Fat Boy on the western flank, putting out damage. A Novak Center completing for Pit. His original Fat Boy still out here. Well, no, his original Fat Boy, did it die? Where did his original Fat Boy go? Has to be around here somewhere. Did it already die and get reclaimed? If so, that's wild. Huh. Wasn't paying enough attention. There are a lot of experimentals on the map, to be fair. But the Novak Center has finished up. He could try and focus on getting rid of anti-nukes if he was feeling like it would increase his chances of winning. If he kills off any anti-nukes, he can just have his ally Samus be able to go in for the nuke snipe. Kill off either of these main bases and you're in a good spot. Mandalore, maybe not so much. He has a lot of his economy tied up in the support command units, so might be able to continue fighting without his main base, but if you kill off the main base of Puiz, you're going to be putting him in a very difficult position, as more support commanders are being built up by Puiz. We don't see any kind of support commander play coming out. Well, we do see some support commanders starting to be built by Pitt. We don't see any being built by Samus. And we have support commanders now going down to the likes of a Megalith. And we have double Fat Boy now on the way to try and deal with this Megalith, but the second you see the double Fat Boy on this side, you just start pushing with your Fat Boy on the other side, and that does seem to be what's happening as of the moment with this Fat Boy out from Pit. You can also use the Novaxes, as is being demonstrated here, to try and deal with the Fat Boy. I don't know if that's a efficient use of it. You also have some Strat Bombers sitting in tow. Could get 2 Fat Boy kills, especially the Fat Boys don't turn around, and they need to turn around like right now. Megalith is in range, the Fat Boys are still going in towards it, and if the Megalith just continues to walk forward, this Fat Boy guaranteed dies. Oh, that Fat Boy losing health so fast, going on a slim fast diet is this Fat Boy. 1 Fat Boy down, and the Megalith barely down below 90,000 HP. And the second Fat Boy going to be going down momentarily to a few bricks, honestly. Bricks in the next charge of the Novax cannon. This Fat Boy is going to need to start running away. The Fat Boy in a very the Megalith needs to start running away. The Megalith in a very dangerous position, honestly. It's going to be getting fired at from behind from the Megalith or from the Fat Boy, and also all of these units coming in. It's not faster than them. All of these Titans and Percivals and other various units going to be able to deal a lot of damage to this, but the units not quite following through with their orders need to continue to move forward, don't need to stop. If they stop, they're going to be throwing away a perfectly good advantage, but all of this time that they're spending over here on this southern flank focusing on Samus is time they won't be spending on Pit, and Pit can get a lot of damage done here pretty quickly if he just starts pushing forward, I feel. We have a bunch of Strat Bombers built up, 5 Strat Bombers. Could try and use those to save the Megalith, or you could just go for something a little bit more spicy, like a snipe onto the anti-nuke. Samus now falling back, only 30,000 HP or roundabouts left on the Megalith. Megalith is going to turn around, going to try and get some veterancy by killing off these Titans. The Titans not having enough DPS to meaningfully deal with this, and going down exceptionally quickly. Gonna be giving another rank of veterancy very soon to this Megalith. Megalith just needs to kill a couple more Titans to get its rank of veterancy. Can it do it? And it does manage to get its next rank of veterancy. Is that enough to save it? I'm not sure. There's a lot of damage being thrown into it, and no, the Megalith is going to go down, but that is reclaim on the doorstep for Samus. Hit has built another Novax Center. He's going for the Novax spam. Looks like the Novax is now starting to approach where the SMD is. Is that what he's going for? I don't know how well they've scouted the opponent's base. You can see the SMD here. You will need to try and kill that off relatively soon if you want any chance of actually getting the nukes to land. Where did all of the Strat Bombers go? I guess they came in to try and save the Megalith, but I don't think they managed to achieve their goal. This no man's land in the middle was formerly held by Team 1, but they've been slowly forced off of it, and it's definitely an area of, yeah, just don't go there. It's a bad place. It's a bad part of the neighborhood, to be completely honest with you. As we die down a little bit in action, I'm going to speed up the game a tad bit until we have some more action going on. Up here in the north, we do have the Novax. It looks like it's going to be trying to fire on, I don't even know what it's firing on, support commanders from the looks of it. I don't know. Is this enough to just... This might just be enough to kill off Samus. Samus may not be able to survive this. I'm not sure. He could point defense nuke. Alright, we're going to slow down the speed again. We have another couple of Strat Bombers coming out over here. They can come over to the east and try and kill off some more of these units that are harassing they're trying to harass the base of Samus, trying to get a run by in. Of course, we do have these gun through artillery, which are really paying themselves off, all of them killing off multiple thousands worth of units. This run by possibly going to be quite an effective run by, as there's a ton of units here for Mandalore. He's been very good about keeping his production all game. He's always had a lot of factories producing units. I think he's still in a mass stall though. Yep, he's been in a mass stall pretty much all game. Pitt is currently working on his third Novax center. Novax is going to be getting extremely dangerous here soon. Where are all of his Novax satellites, and what are they focused on? They're focused on killing off mass extractors for Mandalore right now, which is probably a good idea, as Mandalore is currently sitting on one of the weaker economies, trying to shut him down even more. I don't know where this nuke is going, but I'm pretty sure that just gets blocked. Yeah, that nuke just gets blocked by this anti-nuke, which has 4 anti-nukes loaded. That's not gonna work. They had it scouted, so they should have known there was an anti-nuke in the area. A disruptor heavy artillery installation now started up over here for Samus. I don't know if it's gonna have the chance to complete, as there's a giant run-by happening. We don't see anything similar over for Team 1. As Titans and other T3 units start streaming down this most southern border of the map. We have a bunch of Gunthers and Cerberus now being spammed up by Samus in the main base. Not a good sign. At this point, might be worth it to just try and get a whole bunch of renegades or jesters out to deal with this. And we have a Novax center finished up also for Puis. Double or triple Novax now against single Novax. Pretty sure triple Novax wins, but this is very dangerous. We have broadswords now showing up along with the strap bombers. Power generator gonna go down for Samus. A little bit of friendly fire from his own strap bomber. As these units continue to pour in through this southern border, Samus kind of blindsided by this, just didn't have the units or the structures to kind of deal with it. As the Novax center comes in, gonna put more strain on the base. And Puis is regaining control of the northern side. It looks like he killed off another one of Pitt's fat boys. The multiple Novaxes, I'd like to see them possibly focus on getting the anti-nuke killed. Instead, the Novax is deciding to focus more on killing off the fat boy, which is a valid option. I mean, you definitely will get the kill on the fat boy. It's just going to be a bit of I don't know. It's kind of a Pyrrhic victory, because you kill the fat boy, but you've already lost a whole bunch of shit getting the fat boy killed, so would have been better to just focus on something more infrastructure related, in my honest opinion. Fat boy's shield does recharge, so the Novax is probably going to have a lot of trouble actually killing off that fat boy. We have triple Novax now out for Pitt. He could even probably just try and focus down the Novax center out for Puis. He's definitely forcing a lot of shielding to be built up by Puis, which is going to put a strain on his power grid, but I don't think Puis particularly cares. He's overflowing 11,000 power. A Monkey Lord about to finish up for Samus as a large push comes in. Samus could be in dire straits here. If that Monkey Lord does not finish within the next 2 or 3 seconds, I think he's gonna die. That Monkey Lord needs to finish, like, right now. Okay, Monkey Lord does finish. Is it gonna be enough to save him, though, is the question. The nuke launcher is going to go down, but not like it was super useful up to this point. Novak Center going to be helping with killing off the with the Monkey Lord, but I don't know if the Monkey Lord just dies here or not. We have a bunch of Percivals now showing up. Pitt has built a fourth, or not fourth, he's built another Fat Boy, but it's looking rather dire. I think Samus might die here. He's not going to be able to outrun the Percivals. He has his own line of bricks right here to try and help him survive, but is it going to be too little too late? The Monkey Lord continuing to blap away and kill off units. As we have a Novak Center now finishing up for Mandalore, the UEF all up to their games and tricks of getting a bunch of freaking standoff tactic weaponry. Novaxes and Dukes on the way. The Disruptor was given up on by Samus. And as things have calmed down a little bit, we do have a push now out from Pitt over on this northern side, but this push is quite deceiving. There are some Percivals mixed in here, but this is mostly shields and flak. Don't let it deceive you too much. There's some pillars mixed in too, but large proportion of this attack is going to be shields and flak, so not super dangerous. Of course, as long as the enemy T3 units aren't firing on your Percivals, I think it's a win. As the Novaxes are kind of just wreaking havoc over here. Killing off a lot of stuff. A ton of ASFs going down. These landed ASFs going to be killed off by land units. A bunch of strap bombers and teeth and gunships still being built up, but I don't know. I think at this point you kind of just go for snipes. It's going to be way too difficult to win a more drawn out normal kind of engagement. Do we have an anti-nuke for either of the players on Team 2? I don't believe we do. Which is going to be a problem. The anti-nuke over here was killed off, and the nuke launcher has... or not quite yet, but will finish up soon. As the large push out from Pitt is going to be making its way in towards the air grid of Queeze. Pitt going to be throwing all of his units in here and trying to get some damage done. He might be able to kill off the air grid, but that only matters if he's able to actually... his team is able to actually come up and use the air advantage that they've had for such a long time. They've just been unable to really capitalize on it. Neither of them able to get up enough air units at any given time to cause massive threat to their opponent. The Percival's coming in. The shield generator is going to go down in mass. All of the shield generators going down is dangerous because now you can't reshield this. All of this is kind of forfeit. The Novaxes do eventually just kind of get a kill off your air grid. Now that the shield generators are all down. The air grid for Puyi is going to go down momentarily. The targeting on these Novaxes out from Puyi, or out from Pitt, is quite good. He's managing to get them all firing on different units at any given time. And he's going to get a lot of damage done as this air grid goes down. Here soon a power generator is going to fall, and that's the chain reaction we're looking for. All of these power generators going down. The T3 HQ is still going to manage to survive, but at this point you are not getting back into the air game in this kind of situation. The Duke on the way. We have Novaxes built for both Puyi and Mandalore. Will it be enough? We have multiple Novaxes. We have 3 Novaxes per team now. The Novaxes out for Pitt, now under threat from the enemy Novaxes. laser on the way for Samus, already completed. Has teleporter been completed yet? No, it has not. Do we have teleport defense on either of these comms? No, we really don't. He could teleport right here in between them and get double kill, honestly. Yeah, there's no like direct fire, I'm gonna kill you really quickly. There's some clink hammers being built, but the clink hammers, that might even be within their minimum range, honestly. Yeah, it's within their minimum range. If he gets teleporter, I'm pretty sure that he wins this. He can double kill the comms. Even if they both run away from him, he gets one kill on a comm. He can kill Please, who is, I would argue, the better player out of the two players on Team 1 right now. A bunch of Strat Bombers coming in and going to be killing off the support commanders. That's going to be a very pretty explosion. The Strat Bombers are going to go down, unfortunately. The ASFs in this game have been very much so prone to just sitting on the ground. Mandalore and Please over here. The question is, can Samus manage to figure this out? Also, the Novax is not in a position to deal with the fact that Samus's shields are going down because he's in a massive power stall. They could deal critical damage, but instead just way more focusing on killing off these Novaxes, and I don't think it's going to work out for them. Teleporter is done. Does Samus know that both of the comms are right here? Yes, he does. He can just go for the teleport, and he is going to be much closer to Mandalore. That attack ping, I'm pretty sure, is from Team 2, not Team 1. Team 1, do they have the wherewithal and the attention span to notice the teleport icon coming in? You can see it from quite far out. You can see it from about right here, so you just have to scan around, and if you see something like this showing up, you definitely want to start moving that commander. And it looks like Mandalore is going to be the first one to be fired at. Mandalore going to try and move his comm away, but is going to die. Please now under threat. Oh, the bloom meaning we can't see anything, but Please, is he going to be able to get away in time? He just needs to get outside of the range of the laser, and he doesn't die. But no, Please goes down as well. And just like that, an hour and 7 minutes of back and forth, of will they, won't they, of very evenly matched, unable to kill each other madness. And this subpar commander ends with a telesnipe. Gotta love Cybrans. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching over on YouTube, you all are beautiful. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you to my patrons, Timothy Calderwood, Nogthar, Mutant Gene Pool. I don't know if there's another one. If there's another one, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting you. And to the other patrons who subscribe at a lower tier, thank you. Thank you to my subscribers over on Twitch, and my followers there as well. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Oh, join my Discord as well.